Glad to have you join us on the big interview segment. Yes, new doors right here on OGTV, the People's Telly. June 26th every year is actually set aside as World Drug Day, as a matter of fact, and it's actually a day that is set aside to take a look at problems, emerging issues surrounding drug. We all know that yes, we have drug abuse, and it's actually becoming a thing in society today. The international world body has actually felt there is need for us to take a look at this, so that every nation can begin to take a look at its own problem and then begin to look at how it's going to solve this particular problem. And that's what we are going to be looking at on the program this morning, World Drug Day. And we are going to be looking at the theme, yes, for this year's celebration. We are going to be looking at, yes, what is the nation's standing like as far as drug problems are concerned? Are we really making progress? We're also going to look at the dynamics, really, that these drug problems are actually taking in the 21st century, in 2026 and beyond. And of course, to do justice to all of this in the next couple of minutes, two gentlemen, I have Dr. Kayode Oladende, who is the Permanent Secretary of the State Ministry of Health. It is a pleasure having you join the conversation. And to complete the team is pharmacist Olushayo Olainde, Director of Pharmaceutical Services, Ministry of Health. It's a pleasure having you as well in the studio with us this morning. And then I'm not going to be doing this alone. My colleague is also here.
Good morning, and it is a pleasure to be on the program this morning. And like Dominic said, we have two gentlemen who will be here to take us through the program. And my name is Opeyemi Adiomi, and I guess I will be taking the first question this morning. And my questions will be to Dr. Kayode Oladende. World Drug Day has been celebrated or has been marked since 1987. That's about 40 decades. And then the theme this year says, the world drug problem, persistent issues, new challenges, innovative responses. Which simply means that the theme this year also acknowledges that the problem is still persisting and still evolving. So honestly, are we making progress, or is this drug war a war we cannot win?
Good morning, and once again, viewers at home, and every other person out there. Yes, today is a World Anti-Drug Day, or we call it International Day Against Drug Abuse and Trafficking. Like you rightly said, we've been at this for quite some time, and of course the theme for this year, world drug problems, persisting issues, new challenges, and innovative responses. Like every other problems globally, things are evolving, and of course, just like any other crime or any other human activity, you will see that people that are involved will always come up with ways to bypass the law, or to make sure that whatever they are doing continues, irrespective of the effect of whatever they are doing on themselves and of course on all of us globally. So yes, a lot has been done over the years, and a lot is still being done. And part of what is still being done is setting aside a day to create awareness for stakeholders to come together and assess where we are, assess the problem, the enormity of the problem, what we've done over the years. Are there things we could do better? And that's why we set today aside. Yes, a lot has been done, like you rightly said, but of course the problem is really daunting, especially when you consider the fact that it's youth and the students that are even involved now, especially in this part of the world. So a lot has been achieved, and there's still a lot more to be achieved. Thank you.
Okay, no doubt about that. A lot has been done. But again, in the course of the conversation, we are going to take a look at the progress that has actually been made. But that will be after this break. Do not go anywhere. The program is still moved on right here on OGTV.
Hard drugs are chemical substances that have the ability to change the way our body or mind works. Taking hard drugs has negative effects on our body system. It also leads to heart diseases, liver problems, and sometimes mental disorder. Hard drugs can kill your dreams. You are better off without it. Say no to hard drugs.
The program is still done right here on OGTV, the People's Telly, and the focus this morning is on the World Drug Day 2026, which actually is today. And we have in the studio with us the Permanent Secretary from the State Ministry of Health, and of course the Director of Pharmaceutical Services, also in the ministry. Okay, so I will hand over to my colleague to ask the question.
Oh, okay. So, just before we went on that break, we talked about how long World Drug Day has been marked, which is about 40 decades. Which is about 4 decades, I beg your pardon. And this year's theme also acknowledges the fact that the problem is still persisting. And before we went on that break, we talked about the progress that has been made. Now, my question is this because of how long we've been fighting this war? Is this a war we cannot win, or are we making progress?
Thank you very much once again. Like I said earlier on, this is a war that we're actually making progress. Yes, it's coming up in different dimensions because of those who are involved, mainly youth and students. Of course, with evolving world, we know they would always come up with ways to bypass whatever solutions we've profiled in the past. And of course, the global world, the global stakeholders are also not relenting. It was just last year that the United Nations Office for Drug and Crime thrown out some data that about over 316 million people have used drug, and about 64 million people have challenges, have health issues that needed to be addressed, that will need care as a result of drug-related issues. So it's a very daunting problem. But I must tell you, that is why we have days like this. We also come together, everybody, all stakeholders, governmental, non-governmental, individuals, national body, come together to look at the challenges we have, especially the evolving challenges, where we were and where we are going to. We look at what we have done, what needed to be done. And of course, I can tell you this is a war we are winning, and we are going to win it. We are going to win this war collectively. Thank you very much.
So maybe we should also take a look at the second leg of the theme, which is emerging challenges, as a matter of fact. Now, I know that Nigeria used to be known as a transit nation for drugs. Are we still a transit nation for drugs, or are we now consuming, these drugs and not only transiting these drugs? What are those emerging challenges really that you have noticed, the director?
Thank you very much. I want to say that when we talk of emerging situations now, when we talk of drugs, there are categories. We have those that are purely synthetic. We have those that are like natural ones, like marijuana. Concerning the synthetic ones, which is one of them is cocaine. The efforts were on them to curb it through enforcement, and that is why we have the NDLEA, and they have been making efforts on that. So you can see that the trend of that of the cocaine is like that one is coming down because of the effort of the NDLEA. But the other aspect of the natural one, which is marijuana, because we have access to cultivate it. We cultivate it. There are so many plantations, even forest, our own reserve forest, that you will not know that at a particular point, some people must have gone inside and create a kind of a mini plantation, and before you know it, it is this same marijuana they are planting. I could remember, I think it was 2023 thereabout, that the whole enforcement operatives in the state were summoned, that there is a place around J4 in the Jebode area there, that they summoned all of us to come. I happened to represent the director from social services then, and we were there. I can't imagine what is going on there, to the extent that they were already harvested it and they were about to ship it before the information reached, and the whole state has to rise up. The whole enforcement operations for the whole state has to rise up and go there, for us to go there and stay there until all those plantations were destroyed. So these are the extent to which they have gone. When they see that one is not, they are being apprehended in one area, they try to use another area to still forge on with their atrocities. And coupled with that, the law that established the NDLEA has certain areas where they can go in and apprehend these people. But they discover that there are some evolving things they are doing that is not captured in the law. For example, we have areas of people smoking, even the burnt tire, the fumes from the burnt tire. Those that will go to a latrine, our own local toilets, and because of the fermentation that happened there, the fumes that is coming out is also one that can make them high, and they go in there. How do you arrest such a person? The person come out now and you see the eye bulged, and it started, you act the same way that all of the cocaine, marijuana will also act. So how do we handle this kind of a thing? So those are the emerging situations. It's not as if government is not doing what it's supposed to do, but the more you do, the more they find another way to make sure that they are not apprehended. There was a time they were talking of, I don't know whether shisha that they are doing. You see, even the students will go to that joint, they will take that pipe and start doing it.
Okay, so would you categorize shisha too as part of drugs, prohibited drugs?
Definitely, shisha contains nicotine, which is not ordinarily illicit. But there are some drugs that there are some that are not illicit, but they are gateway to the illicit ones. So when we talk of alcohol, it's not illicit. When we talk of nicotine, it's not illicit, which is all the cigarettes that people have. It's not illicit. It is the content of the cigarette, which is nicotine, that is inside that shisha. But the more they do it, at a point, they want to graduate into another level. So these are the things that is making it more difficult, more like a challenge for us almost every year to see how we can curb the situation.
Okay, sir. My question is to you. Open State NDLEA Command released figures showing 306 arrests recently, and 64 people were also prosecuted after they dismantled a net lab in Ijebu. Now, compared to 771 that were arrested, like the whole world last year, we had 771 arrests. But in a month, we have 306. I mean, so beyond arrest and seizure, what are the new approaches, from technology to community intervention that the state is? Yes, please go.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, sir. All right. Like I said, the state is not sleeping. They are doing what is there. But there are two areas, there are two approaches that is an option for us. The first approach is enforcement. The other approach is what we call drug demand reduction. Drug demand reduction. And that is the aspect where the state is a serious stakeholder. And that is what we embark on in the Ministry of it, which is creating awareness. Let people know the implication of doing these things. Let people know that these things is all around, so that the stakeholders will sit up and do the needful. So that is the area that we are focusing. The area that we are focusing is the creation of awareness and sensitization. And every aspect of our community is due for sensitization, which we are trying to do.
On a day like this, we should also hammer on the dangers really inherent in all of these substance abuses and the rest of them. So can we just take a look at some of them again? I mean, so that for those who might have actually forgotten about the inherent dangers, they will be jolted back to reality and then know that if they are treading that path, I mean, they should actually backtrack.
Thank you very much for that question. Of course, the dangers of drug abuse varies, and it ranges from medical issues, social issues, and of course, other things in between. For example, drug abuse. I mean, we also have to look at the drug. When we say drug abuse, it varies. There are conventional drugs, he was talking about them, and there are some unconventional drugs that he also mentioned. I mean, lizard dung, some people will just inhale it, nail varnish removal, some people will inhale it, it makes them high, and this has a way of affecting the health. So there are health issues, like it could affect the heart, it could affect the respiratory system, it could even lead to blindness, it could affect the mood, psychological issues. Some of them will become very unstable, they will not do well in school, and of course, social problems like criminality. It dares into criminal tendencies, cultism, robbery, because they want to steal whatever it is, they want to get money to maintain whatever lifestyle they are living. And that's why we have all these vices, kidnapping, armed robbery, and all sorts of things. In fact, there are some pregnant women too. It could lead to, infertility, it could lead to abortion, and so many other. It's a very wide range of effects. Of course, the social effect is really very serious one that we really have to hammer, because, like I said, majority of those involved in drug abuse really within the bracket age of the youth and the students, and it's really appalling. I mean, it's really going down to secondary schools, and you will see as we continue with our discussion, we have a lot of activities in secondary school, higher institutions, parks and garages, religious homes, churches, because we really have to let people know about the danger of this, and that's a very veritable way of really curbing this drug abuse menace in our society.
Okay. Talking about women, because you mentioned women now, a study has shown that 1 in every 4 drug user is a woman. I mean, how did we get here? What does this mean to our home, the children? Because normally we say the women are, in charge of the home, the children. Now, if 1 in every 4 drug user is a woman, I mean, how did we get to this point, and what should be done?
Thank you very much. Immediately, Fies mentioned women. That something just came to my mind. The drug called tramadol was actually first abused by women.
Okay.
In pregnancy, this morning sickness,
yes,
and so on, and then pain. When they are going through pain, maybe menstrual or something, they just want to calm themselves down. They want to avoid all those situations. That is how they are enticed into that drug, and that is how it started. Because it has a stronger way of bringing down pain.
Yes.
And that's why they were. But because of that, they can't control the use of it. And from there, that one has other side effects. And part of the other side effect is what leads to the drug abuse in situation. So that is how I know that the women enter that one.
Okay.
But another one is men and women. Before they get to women, they are first of all ladies or girls.
Okay.
We have what we call peer pressure. We are talking of youth. Youth is not just boys.
Of course.
They are there. So percentage of them, they are there. So they are the one that carry it on till they now get to the women stage. So that's why we've been having them all along. But the only thing is that we are not focusing on them.
Okay.
So they have been there. So the percentage they are talking about is the carryover.
Okay.
From that angle.
Now, prescription what's called drugs like tramadol and codeine, because I remember a while back when my sister was involved in an accident, she was actually prescribed tramadol.
Yeah.
And at some point, if she doesn't take it because of the pain, she's not okay. She wants to keep taking it. So I'm asking, how do you monitor? I mean, talking about pharmacists, talking about people in the health sector.
Right.
How do you monitor this, or is it that can it be traded for other drugs, or how do you look at this?
Thank you very much. This is where the professionalism comes in. The issue of monitoring has to do. Once they say something is a prescription drug, that means unless being prescribed by a prescriber, the pharmacist cannot dispense, must not dispense. Likewise, even those that approach even the private pharmacies or a private pharmacist that is also licensed to do this, this issue has brought NAFDAC to the point of now categorize that drug as a control drug. So now in pharmacy, you can't find that tramadol on the counter. It's supposed to be in an enclosure that goes along with control. So if you dispense, it must be traceable. How many you prescribe, then how many are you? Because if there is even what NAFDAC is doing now, that they are using it to trace the usage of such drugs, that they can get to you and start seeing your record and see how many you have used. And they will now query you how. So these are the kind of control that is on that. They have created another space for it for control now. Unlike before, that you can just get in the pharmacy or a patent medicine and they just take it on the counter for you. That is the way we control.
We'll quickly go on a break, and when we come back, the program continues. Welcome back. We're still watching New Dawn, and this is still the interview segment. And like we said earlier, we have two gentlemen in the studio. We have the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Health and President of Dr. Kayode Oladende. We also have pharmacist Olushayo Olarinde in the studio. And before we went on that break, we were talking about innovations, and we're also talking about the challenges and what drug day. The PS, which is in person of Dr. Kayode Oladende, would also want to tell us some of what Ogun State is doing in sensitizing the residents of Ogun State on what drug day.
Thank you very much. In the past few years, Ogun State government had actually embarked on a lot of activity to ensure we have a drug-free Ogun State, and a lot of things we still have lined up to be done that is being done right now. The Ogun State government, when the director was talking, he spoke about the demand end and the supply end, and we are focusing more on reducing the demand end. And we have embarked on a lot of activities. For example, the state government had actually instituted drug-free clubs in more than 160 secondary schools in the 3 senatorial districts of the state. The state government has also formed these clubs in some higher institutions. About 3 tertiary institutions have drug-free clubs that are being monitored. The activities, are being supported by the Ministry of Health through the Drug Reduction Control Unit. Of course, the state government is also, towards the aim of reducing the demand end of the whole problem. We've involved community, we've been involved in community campaigns, we've gone to parks and garages, we have involved religious houses, and it's a continuous thing. Parents Teachers Association, NATA, NULTW, we go to markets. So we are trying to educate people, let them know the danger in drug supply, and this we are still doing and will continue to do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's take a look at. I'm sure in your activities really over the years, you must have come in contact with people who actually took to drugs, as a matter of fact. So, what is that one thing or 2 things that are consistent really in their story that actually makes them start taking drugs?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like you said earlier on, peer pressure is a major factor, especially amongst the youths. And once they are, of course, introduced to it, maybe in their schools, you'll be surprised. Even at primary school, we are trying to focus on primary schools now because it's better. We realize that some people even start it from there. Once they are introduced to it, and most of these drugs are addictive. That's it. It's very addictive. They find it very difficult to stop, and they do anything to make sure they get their regular supply of those drugs. So majority of them started from peer groups, and most of the time it's very difficult for parents to know at all, especially with these current economic crunches. People are hardly spend time with the family. Most of those family settings we had in the past, where you know what your child is doing, you are interested in what friends he has in school and things like that, have been eroded. So cultural values also, decadence in the cultural value is also affecting this. So essentially, they are introduced into this. Some of them don't even want to do it. They don't even know when they go into it. They don't know what they are going into. Sure. And once they are hooked, it's very difficult for them to stop. And before you know, they are introduced to other vices, and it becomes, a cascade that can not be stopped. So, and those that have even realized that they have it, or people around them have realized that their close people have it, don't even know where to go. And that underscored the importance of this kind of meeting. And that's why it is not just the Ministry of Health, all other government agents, quite a number of them, Ministry of Information, Youth and Sport, and we are all involved in this. So that one way or the other, if we have one or two of them that could come out and reach out to someone that they could talk to. So we use various avenues to make them speak, and once they can speak, we can now take over and assist them to get out of it.
We probably as we go in the conversation, we'll also evaluate that avenue that you have actually put in place, because some people might actually want to break free from these problems, but because the avenue may not, the compassion is enough. Maybe it's more of judging them, than showing mercy and compassion, so they may not want to show up. But before we go there, still talking about reasons why people get into drugs. I mean, are there no cases where, some people actually took these things from either their mother, their fathers, or their older siblings, and the rest of them, and they started taking to drugs? Because these days we see parents, be careless about some of these things they are addicted to in the parents of their children. I mean, are these not also disadvantageous?
Thank you very much. Extremely disadvantageous, like you said. Those are the social factors we talk about. A man that takes alcohol in the house, a man that smokes Indian hemp. Some even smoke it in their homes. And of course, the women will be there to inhale it. The children will see how it goes. They would want to try it. It's still, the level of decline in our moral values that we spoke about. And of course, yes, it's a very serious, especially when women are involved. A woman makes a home stand, really. If a woman is involved, you can be sure that home is gone. The home is gone. And now we see people, with babies backing their babies, still looking for drugs, looking for hard drugs, because it's cheap, it's available, it's everywhere. There are so many unconventional ones, and those who are involved in the sales, that's the supply end, also wants to make their ends meet. So, like you rightly said, it's not usually punitive. We encourage that. That's why most of them don't come out. So we encourage them to come out. We don't just want to apply punishment all the time. We want to see what we can do to rehabilitate. The state government have rehabilitating centers.
We
have rehabilitating centers. So we encourage them, and after rehabilitating them, we also make sure we win them off the drugs, and also make sure they are engaged. Because it's an idle hand that is, occupied by evil. So we get them vocational. I'm sure you know about the government vocational institutions around. So we that's why I said Ministry of Education involved, Youth and Sports. We are all involved. So it's a spectrum that we try to make sure that we get right.
And there is also the problem of stigma that some of them fear about, that they could actually be stigmatized in the process. Is there assurance that does not really happen?
Yes.
There was a year, I think the year before the last, that the theme is focusing on that. Listen first. Listen first. And the approach is that starting from home, the parents should create time for those children, just like PPS has said, that if they have instances where a student will come back home, come with an issue that could have been easily resolved at home, but because the parent doesn't give such a child attention, child face this challenge in school, where he says, when I get back home, my mom will tell me exactly what I should do. My dad will tell me exactly what I should do. But here we are, the father and the mother, not even other siblings, have time for him or her. You want to say, they say, look, I'm tired, I want to sleep, I want to rest, I can't discuss anything. And he will not do that carryover back to school. Then he will just conclude that I think I should go and get whatsoever the decision will be at school. since they don't have time for me. This has cost us a lot in the system. There's so many involved just because their parents doesn't give them time and doesn't listen to them. And that was, since that time, they also said that, okay, yes, before now, it has always been a criminal issue. But from now on, let everybody be aware that we should see these people as patients, not criminals, especially those that are taking it, those that are involved in utilizing those drugs. That we should see them as patients that need care, that needs help. And that approach is worldwide. And that is the in thing now. You see them as patients. Okay. You see them as someone that need help, that we should help, not now seeing them as criminal. Before, when it first started, it was all about enforcement. You are smoking, they will come, they round them up, put them in the cell, do everything. But by the time they are coming out of that, they become hardened. And they go into it more. They go into more criminal issue. They go deeper into crime. Okay. So, but that is what make the whole system use another approach that, look, these people are patients. Okay. We need to care for them. So it's like somebody that has a headache, somebody that has malaria. So that's the way we look at them now. So the issue of stigma, because of that, the issue of stigma is coming down. It's coming down. And people are now showing, because when they see you, I can vividly tell you that even in religious-based centers, when you get there now, they don't see somebody that is smoking as somebody that is a criminal. They will call you, they will cancel you. And they will even to reason. I have one that they refer about 2 to Royal Psychiatric Hospital for treatment. And since that time, they are pick up. Okay. So every other organization should see it that way and start doing something. We'll be bringing out something positive to ensure that these people are living the right way they're supposed to.
To add to what my colleague has said, now we no longer, to move away from stigmatizing these people, we should see them as patients who need care. Yes. Now, if somebody is ready to come out that, okay, I'm an addict, I need rehabilitation. Right. Do we have rehabilitation center here in Abeokuta or in Ogun State as a whole?
Thank you very much. In Ogun State, we now have 2 basic rehabilitation centers. One has been, which is at Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Abeokuta. Recently and currently, the NAFDAC is just informing us that they have been able to establish one at Shagam. Okay. So we have basically 2 now in Ogun State, where we can easily refer those ones to.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about innovative response, which is also part of the team we're looking at. Let's take social media as an example. A lot of people go online. In fact, people sell drugs online. You don't necessarily need to meet up with these people. You buy, exchange money, and then you pick up your goods. What is the government doing in order to curb online activities? And social media is also a platform where the youths, which are the major, they have access to, they see all of these things online, So what exactly is the government doing in this aspect?
Well, thank you very much. That's what we call technology-driven trafficking networks. There are ways to curb these kind of things. You step up to that level. If they are using technology to perpetrate, even you also step up whatever you have to do. So we are also on social media educating people. We are meeting them at that point, and we are trying to make sure we take steps ahead of them and various other things that we've done, to make sure that this is part of this is technology. Though it could be a traditional one, but that's it. But we are stepping up with them. That's just what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. So on social media, we're very active.
You can find you on all social media platforms,
of course,
Instagram.
And I'm sure you also know there are regulatory bodies that monitor most of the activities on social media. And once they see any negative bias, of course, they would also alert us.
Okay.
And once we are alerted, we try and trace and and track them and do what is necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, so are we going to be seeing probably collaborations with celebrities, really, because these people wield some amount of influence in the society, and unfortunately, some of them actually also abuse, these substances, and in fact, some people take to drugs because their favorite celebrity is actually probably also brandishing those substances, on air, really, so to say. So, are we going to see collaborations in the state? I mean, we have a couple of celebrities too, that are close to the people. Are we seeing collaborations between you and them, so that this message can also further trickle down?
Yes, thank you very much for that. Like he said, we involve various groups, and you would agree with me that those you just mentioned belongs to some of these groups too. And we have ambassadors amongst them that are canvassing the cause. We have ambassadors. Some of those ambassadors never use drugs. Some of them had used it in the past and they have been rehabilitated, and they know the challenges they had before they could get rehabilitated. So they could reach out to their colleagues amongst you just mentioned. So yes, we are doing that. We are meeting those that are looked up to, especially by the youth, as role model, and we are also trying to use their activities. So we engage them as ambassadors, and we will continue to do that. And that is one of the ways globally that is being used. And Ogun State also has adopted that, and we're going to see more of that.
So aside celebrities, are you partnering with some private organization, churches, religious institution to, help in the eradication of drug abuse?
Yes, very well. Like I mentioned, we've gone to religious houses, we've gone to faith-based societies, and so many other groups that we've gone with, partnered with, and we continue to partner with them. It's not just a government response. Like I said, all of us are stakeholders in this, because if you know the enormity of the menace and what it can cause, especially when it involves youth and women, you can be sure that if care is not taken, if not for the efforts that has been put in over the years, it can actually consume.
You keep saying women.
I keep on saying women, because even if you said 1 out of 4, that's even a huge number. Even influence women have in our society. In fact, 1 out of 100 is significant. Women make the society, honestly.
That's the link. I don't know if you're saying it is men that taught them to.
Well, whichever way. We are not putting blame, like we said. No blame. No, we just want everybody to know that this is a problem. Whoever has it should be able to come out, and all of us should be able to support them to get out of it.
Talking about those drugs that you earlier mentioned that are no longer on the counters, when you get to pharmaceutical stores. We understand that some of these pharmaceutical stores are privately owned, and some of these people also want to sell their goods. So how are you ensuring that these people are really sticking to the laws, are sticking to your directives, that if it has not been prescribed by a medical practitioner, do not sell? I mean, because you will not always be there with them 2/7.
Well, thank you very much. I said there's enforcement, there is sensitization. In terms of enforcement, there are various agencies that are involved, especially in the issue of drug. We have NAFDAC, we have NDLEA, and we have Pharmacy Council of Nigeria that regulates all these, even the private you are talking about. So regularly they go to these premises to see what they are doing, to monitor what they are doing. So, and they have records. There are records that will be checked. If they see you wanting, there are so many premises that are being shut or sealed, and it's not once and for all thing. It's coming regularly. So once they know that they will come, so they themselves, they will sit up and do the needful, not to fall into their trap. So these are the things that we are using to control. You know, when they say it's a control drug, that means somebody is monitoring, and that is why you see them visiting. There is what we call, for example, for the PCN, there is what we call location approval inspection. Even before that premises, they want to see the suitability. They want to see the environment, whether the environment is. You can't go to like Uguagbara now and tell us that you want to have a patent medicine shop inside that place. We know what will be happening there. I get what I'm saying. So they will not allow it. So those are the kind of things they do. We have what we call routine checking, routine monitoring. That is where we track those that are not following what they're supposed to follow, that are selling what they're supposed not to sell, that are encouraging this drug abuse. So we have them categories like that. Then NAFDAC themselves, they will come, they will check, are you following the right thing that you're supposed to follow, especially concerning drugs. NDLA will come, we say yes, we are also into drugs that are under control. And once they see, for NDLA, if they come to your premises and they discover that you are not doing the right thing, the person will go with handcuff to the office to go and explain why. Because they will categorize you like one of those traffickers, unlike somebody that is using it that will categorize as patient. So those are the kind of efforts that we are doing, and we also going to continue to intensify. And the state government actually is collaborating with all these enforcement agencies to make it done. Thank you very much.
Okay. As Ogun State joins the rest of the world to mark 2026, International World Drug Day, what are the activities that has been lined up for the day?
Well, this is one of them, to appear here, and by the time we get back to the office now, my PS is going to be meeting with pressmen, to also have some interview. Then aside that, yesterday the NDLEA started with a walk in town. So we want to, that is to approach onto the public as at large. But for us in the ministry, we want to focus on the civil servants. So as we are getting back to the office now, there will be a mini rally within the secretariat to alert all those, but there are also parents that will go back home and go and take the message back to the system. Thank you very much.
Okay. So what is that one step from, say, the government, communities, families, individuals, that even health sector that can be the difference? What is that one thing everybody should endeavor to do to actually create a difference, even as we celebrate today?
Well, from my own side, the only step I want to say is that they should take ownership of this approach, of ensuring that there is a great reduction in demanding for those drugs. Because if we do that, then it will not be, there will be, even if you have trafficker that brought it, when there is nobody to buy, then you will run out of business.
Yes, also we should be up and doing with respect to our social responsibilities. We should not think, this person is a religious leader, cannot be involved in drugs. No, anybody could be involved, and we should not be surprised if they approach us. So we should help our social responsibilities and try and instill what we used to have. I mean, social responsibilities. I still come back to that. Because the level of decadence is really so appalling. So we should educate our people, be more observant with our children, and of course be ready to help whoever we think has a problem. If the person is not even ready to go out, there are agencies. Please seek advice, seek help, directly or indirectly.
Can you mention some of these agencies so that people will know where to go?
Ministry of Health is there. Yeah. The clubs we said we've established in secondary schools, higher institutions, even group leaders, I mean, association leaders could be approached. So quite a number, like I said, Ministry of Information, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Youth and Sports, and non-governmental organizations can be approached.
Is there hope, really? Probably it's going to be a final shot, really. Is there hope for that person who is addicted, seriously addicted to one form of substance or the other? Seriously addicted. Is there hope for the person to come back and lead a normal life?
Absolutely, yes. There is. You know, it depends on the depth of involvement. Some you will not go too far before you rehabilitate them. Some you may have to go real far.
But you see, on how far the person
yes, it depends on how far the person. It's not bringing them out of the drug really that matters, and that's why the state government is really involved in rehabilitation. Make sure they are engaged in gainful employment and other things that will take them totally off the drugs.
Gentlemen, we must thank you for your time with us this morning. Taking a look at this very, very important issue, the World Drug Day 2026. Of course, it's been an educative conversation, no doubt about that. I'm sure our guests, our audience, our viewer, have actually learned so much, from your submissions. We'll be speaking with Dr. Kayode Oladende, who is the permanent secretary Ogun State in the Ogun State Ministry of Health, and of course pharmacist Olushayo Olande, director of pharmaceutical services, also in the Ministry of Health in the state. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Of course, we've got to go. This is where we draw the curtain today. Many thanks for being a part of it. Goodbye.